Hello, my name is Susan Lee. I'm a member engagement consultant with LSCU, and this is Robbery Awareness Training. Everyone hopes that they will never need to use the skills and techniques that we will be discussing throughout this training. However, it is extremely important that all employees have knowledge of your credit union's specific policies and procedures and basic robbery awareness knowledge. Our goal is to make your institution a less attractive target. A financial institution is seldom prey for a criminal until it's been thoroughly cased. Make the would-be robber uncomfortable while trying to case your credit union. Make it known that you see them and realize they are suspicious. Always be aware of your surroundings. If you're in the lobby, look up when someone comes through the door. Don't just keep your head buried in your work. Be sure they appear to have a purpose when they come in. All staff needs awareness training and prevention. The would-be robber doesn't know which staff member has access to the vault. All staff could be targeted. Keep an eye out for crimes happening in your community. This may mean that you need to be even more aware if crime in your area is on the rise. Take a look at this chart. Where do you see yourself on an average workday? Are you in the white? If so, you may want to make a few changes to your current observation habits. Are you in the yellow? This is where we want the staff to be for the majority of the time until something triggers a different feeling. This could be if you see something suspicious, such as a person taking photos in the lobby or working on a laptop or just looking unusually anxious. These are things that should trigger orange. In the event of an actual threat, you will need to step into the red. Now is when you really need to remember the training, focusing on the task at hand and resolving the situation as quickly as possible. Although none of us know exactly how we will react to a threatening situation until we're faced with it, we all hope that we will not be frozen in fear. This is where the planning and training comes into play. Focus on details of the robber and getting him out of the credit union as quickly as possible with as little conflict as possible. Staying in the focused awareness, or yellow, while at work is going to help you recognize dangerous or unusual situations faster. Prevention. Knowing how to recognize a suspicious or dangerous situation and how your credit union wants you to handle it. Know the credit union's policy and procedure of what to do when you see something unusual. With the multiple elements of the overlapping approach, it's going to create a safer environment. There are 5 most common types of robberies. Armed robbery is the one we're all most familiar with. Morning glory happens typically before office hours or immediately once the credit union opens. Note is when the robber hands you a note with his demands. Verbal, same as the note but actually speaks to you. The takeover. Robbers, usually armed, take over the lobby, sometimes taking hostages and demanding money. The other less common types would be closing time, bomb threat, and hostage situation. Here are some interesting robbery statistics. In 2018, there were 3,033 bank robberies in the U.S. The prime time for a robbery is Fridays between 3 and 6. The good news, most bank robbers are not armed. Statistically, bank robbers are male and over the age of 25. The most common robbery technique is the handwritten note handed to the teller. Very seldom does a credit union with a security guard get robbed. This seems to be the biggest deterrent to robberies. Die packs, bait money, and tracking devices can be useful, but seldom actually solve the crime. A robber, water, and electricity all share a common characteristic. They are all lazy and will likely seek the path of least resistance. A robber is always going to go to the easiest target. Don't make it easy for them. We can help deter the robbers by taking some basic preventative measures. Stay in the yellow. Always be alert to your surroundings. Keep an eye in the parking lot. If there's a suspicious car, note the license plate, and if it's really off, you may even want to call the police. If you see someone out of place in your lobby, ask if they need assistance. This lets them know that you're paying attention. Often, that's all it takes for them to realize your credit union isn't a good prospect. Follow your opening and closing procedures. These things are so important. Know how to operate all security systems and test them frequently. Conduct robbery training frequently. The more you hear this, the more you'll be prepared in the event of an actual situation. It is also helpful to greet everyone that walks into the door. This alone can deter a would-be robber. Making eye contact and aggressive hospitality are also great deterrents. Taking a mental snapshot of appearance is a great practice. Always require members to remove hats and sunglasses when entering. I know the face mask is a difficult workaround, but stick with the basics of no hats and sunglasses in the lobby. Check on vendors and non-members to be certain they are who they say they are. Don't just let someone into your IT room because they say they're supposed to be there. Make sure they are expected. If not, and you don't recognize them, ask them to wait while you verify. Again, it's all about making it difficult for someone. Always observe those loitering in the parking lot or lobby. Also, never discuss confidential information with anyone outside the credit union. Don't share your opening and closing procedures with others. Or tell someone who has access to the vault. These are just things that people don't need to know. Never leave your lobby unattended. This seems obvious, but things can happen quickly. Lock the door if it's necessary, even for a brief moment. Take advantage of new technologies, such as height marker cameras or branch opening apps. Limit cash in teller drawers and implement an emergency code if you utilize cash recyclers. For those that are first in and last out, it's especially important to vary your driving routes. Take different ways to mix things up. Let management know if you see something that could be improved. Don't be afraid to make a suggestion. Never be alone in a branch, especially when opening and closing. Keep landscaping trimmed. Don't give anyone a place to hide. Keep doors and windows clear. You need to be available to see in and out of them. By following some basic procedures, you can greatly reduce your risk of being targeted. Always have 2 people to open. Have one employee drive around the branch to make sure they don't see anything suspicious while the other employee waits in their car. One employee enters the branch to perform an inspection and disarm the alarm. Only after everything is good, set the all clear signal. Then the second employee can enter and continue with opening procedures. Always know your credit union's specific policy and procedure for opening and closing the credit union. For closing, it is recommended that the following procedure be followed. First, inspect the branch to be sure that there are no members inside. Then lock the doors. Once all your nightly closing procedures are completed and all sensitive information is locked away, arm the alarm and exit the building after checking the parking lot. If you are faced with an actual robbery, first things first, remain calm. Try and think clearly and let your training take over. Let the robber be in control. The goal is to get them out of the credit union as safely and quickly as possible. Cooperate fully with their demands. Don't speak or move unnecessarily. Say what you are doing as you do it. Repeat instructions back to the robber. If you are able, give the bait money with the cash, and also keep the demand note if possible. Look for any identifying features beyond the disguise, such as height, eye color, build, skin color, hairline, any distinguishing marks, tattoos, scars, moles, or piercings. Never look a robber directly in the eyes. This could be considered threatening. Know when to trigger the alarm based on your security policy and when it's safe to do so. Very important to know what to do immediately following the robbery. As soon as you're able, lock all the doors to prevent re-entry. Trigger the alarm and notify the police. Separate witnesses if possible to eliminate the spread of misinformation. Write down every detail you can remember, especially suspect description, and don't speak to anyone until you speak to the police. Don't touch or move anything and secure the area so that the police can perform an investigation. Speak with a post-robbery trauma counselor as soon as possible after the incident. Your CEO or assigned staff should be the only media representative. Make sure all staff is aware of this. Print this page and keep it at the teller stations. Once police have been called, have all witnesses complete this form in silence, preferably separated. The quicker it's completed, the more likely they are to remember the details. I will conclude today's training with some final thoughts. Weapons, or the mention of weapons, should be taken as real and loaded. Robbers are there for the money and property. Never attempt to stall or delay the robber, as this will increase the potential for violence. Do not risk your life or anyone else's for money or property. And finally, situational awareness, frequent training, and adherence to policies will help ensure a continued safe environment. This concludes our training. Thank you for attending. If you have any questions about today's training, please don't hesitate to contact me or any of the member engagement staff.